Who's the biggest villain, like, storyline in horse racing right now? Hell of a question without notice.
Do I think this? But probably St. Peter down in New South Wales. I'd probably say he's the biggest villain. I don't necessarily agree with that. What about you?
Well, from last weekend, it has to be Zach Purton.
Oh,
just coming back and
he is
showing us what for?
Yeah.
He had absolutely no need to do that. We knew how good he was.
He came back, pulled J Mac's trousers down, just gave him a little smack bottom. Said, "What?" Said, "How you doing, mate?"
Yeah. Remember me, Bruss.
Yeah. Look, he can be. He could be a classic villain. Tell you what, he's going toe to toe with old mate, who's the steward up in Honkers,
isn't he? This is how good I am. Do you want me to stay?
Yeah. So it's you and me, big fella.
What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah. What are your thoughts on it? It's out on the table for everyone to evaluate. Jeez, he's good, isn't he?
Oh, I don't know how many rides he had for the day, but it's pretty close to two. Two that I did not back.
Yeah, no, not at all. I was communist. I don't know, some Russian thing. Yeah, look, it wouldn't have even given it a second of thought. Artorias, yeah, like I just thought Imperatriz would be too strong, and he's just a get back run on horse and has 2 years of misses to back that up. And you're sort of thinking, like, I wouldn't be surprised to see him win this race, but I think it would take a mighty effort to run down Imperatriz, which is exactly what happened, mate. So, instead of crying myself to sleep on Saturday night, it was just muddled thoughts in my head.
Yeah.
Instead.
Well, as the drifter of the week in the Group 1 tipping comp said, Artorias to run over him in the last 50. That's exactly what happened. So shout out to the drifter of the week. Superb shopping by you.
Clear the shelves.
Yeah. Well, someone's in the red now, unfortunately. It's me. But I'm going to make it all back this weekend because we have a Coolmore Classic and the Newmarket, which is absolutely sensational.
Cheer who? Do you know what makes it even more sensational? We're going to be at the greatest place on earth.
For one hell of an occasion. We're Bucks Boys this weekend.
Bucks Boys, yeah. Yours truly.
Congratulations, mate.
It's getting hitched in
3 weeks.
Few weeks.
How you feeling?
Yeah, look, I'm not going to lie. Am I an easygoing, go with the flow type operator?
Yeah.
Of course I am.
Yeah.
Did I have a little mini freak out to G on the weekend just about, hey, we've got everything sorted for the wedding, yeah? She was like, yeah, there's just a couple of bits and bobs that we need to finalise, but we've got plenty of time.
Yeah. I still need a wedding dress, but that's okay.
Yeah, you still need a venue. So yeah, I'm a bit nervous, but not to marry, my wonderful fiance. # brownie points. Just so everything goes smoothly on the day, which is I think completely normal, right?
Yeah, you want to put on a hell of a do.
I just want everyone to get pissed and have a good time.
Yeah,
and make sure there's good music and plenty of food for people to enjoy.
I think there'll be finger food going right, left, right, and centre.
Yeah, hopefully, I want a situation where they're like, we've got too much. I'd much prefer that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Bucks this weekend, Noosa Surf Club. Mate, the scene of the crime where Rockin' Horse deflated every single set of tyres in the venue because we were there for the Newmarket Handicap last year.
And you're only getting half the price this year. You're getting $30 for it this year.
Which is still a big price, mate.
It is.
It's a big price. It's a tough race, though.
It's arguably the Melbourne race of the autumn, I believe. I think it is a fantastic addition. It is sensational.
It is great. I thought the Oakley Plate was great too. We've just got a nice amount of up-and-coming sprinters and established sprinters, I think.
Yeah, there was no Marzoos and Private Eyes there, though.
Marzoo?
There was no I Wish I Wins there. No In Secrets.
There wasn't, no. But Marzoo trialled down the straight. He looks pretty good, our boy.
He does. Might be risking him this weekend.
Sorry, Marzoo.
Sorry, mate. Should we get into it?
Let's just get straight into it, mate.
Yeah. We have things to do, people to see.
Oh, good, yeah.
Let's go. You know what? Let's go the Coolmore first.
The Coolmore.
Why not? Probably about race 7 or 8 on the program.
Something like that.
Yeah,
I'd suggest.
I'd say it'd be race 8 on the program, Declan. 1,500 metres for the fillies and mares. Always a good race, this.
It is. Lighthouse won it last year, I believe. Well found by Bradley Weston. Joshua McClelland, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. She's a good-looking grey horse.
No longer with us. From a racing perspective in the breeding barn,
I was about to say. That's pretty grim to bring up, but she's not brown bred, is she?
No, I believe. Mate, you have Hinged, Anavisto, Hope in Your Heart, Ruthless Dame. Zugocha was making headlines left, right and centre this morning.
She sure was.
Storm in a teacup sort of stuff. Espiona, does she head this way? I don't know. How did you see the race?
Oh, difficult. And to be honest, I'm glad that they scratched Zugocha. I think it would have been incredibly hard for her to win this race.
Why would that be? I think you have you have to admit something.
I do have to admit something. Look, there was a leaf on my lap, and I turned it over, and there was a new leaf underneath it. Just the barriers are just killing a lot of my picks recently, which makes me believe that potentially maybe I am a barriers guy. Which was really the only thing that I felt set me apart from every other bang average punter on this country, on this planet. I think I'm not a barriers guy. I don't want that tag, please. Mm-hmm. But I'm a guy who respects the barrier draw. That's what I am.
More than you did previously.
100%.
You know what got us all in haste of this a few years ago was when a good girl of ours won the Epsom, I believe.
From the widest barrier?
Probably. Now, I'm looking back, she won that from barrier 15 of 17.
Karen with a great steer.
One of the great steers. Have we overplayed that for 2 to 3 years? Yeah. I think we probably might have.
Potentially, but we've been vindicated plenty of times, mate.
Yeah, here and there.
Gypsy got us through the widest barrier in the Queensland Oaks. God bless her.
Yeah.
And I still declared a capital M.
You absolutely did.
So, yeah, I think it would have been tough for her to win this race. I think more so because of the weight, mate. A filly in this race carrying 54 kilos against an established Group 1 horse like Hinged with 57 kilos. Mm-hmm. And then if J-Mac did take the ride, which he didn't, but, say she was carrying 54 and a half kilos, gee whiz. That's a bit harsh, particularly when, you've got a previous Group 1 winner who's 4, Yearning, carrying 52 kilos. She hasn't been in great form, but,
Oh, she always hits the line well, Yearning.
She does, yeah. So, yeah, I think it would have been incredibly hard for her to win this race. But that leaves one obvious favourite in the market, at least, Anavisto with $5.50. She's definitely one of mine. I thought she was unreal, resuming first up. Do you think she's a good chance in this race? Or, again, that's the barrier just completely fucked her.
No, because she's a leader. She'll be in her own space out there. Find the front. She's a very fast horse.
She's very fast, and she's got a very fast-moving jockey on top of her. Hot Nash.
Yeah.
Chew.
You know what I found out about Anavisto, why she had such a long break after the Queensland Carnival? She had a condition which I did not realise was a thing called wet feet. So I heard Mick Price say that during the week. So I had to Google that, Mick, because you gave zero context. Horses kept in wet paddocks will have softer hooves. In addition to changes in shape, wet hooves often become flared and flat-soled. Consistent wetness may predispose hooves to cracks, bacteria infections, and abscesses. So he said, in my genius, I spelled her in Sydney. And then she subsequently got wet feet.
Oh, no.
Which... that was news to me. That was even a thing.
It makes sense.
It does.
If we're in wet conditions for too long, our fingers and toes get a little weird and shriveled.
Yep.
So I would expect that to happen to a horse's hooves.
So do I want to take $5.50 for a horse that's suffered from wet feet? I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm gonna risk her. I think she was incredibly well found by the whole of Australia first up.
Yeah. But more so us.
Yeah.
Like more us better than anyone else.
At the $2.
We backed her at $2.20. She jumped at $2.10. So we found it better.
There's no secret that I am a massive fan of Hope in Your Heart. 56 kilos. Is she harshly treated? Potentially. Is she good enough? Bloody oath she is. You look at her last 12 months, mate. She's won 4 from 10. She's also had placings in things like the Gong. She's run 4th at any old odds in the Golden Eagle. You look at that form here. Fangirl would start $3 in this field. Gypsy Goddess would probably start $4 first up. I'm getting $8 to find out about this mare. And you look at those 12 months as well. They were trying to extend her, or she was at those staying trips as well for part of that. So they've really figured her out in the last 6 months. She's in cracking form. She's going to be by far my main bet in the race, 100%.
And Kerry Parker is an incredibly underrated trainer.
Yes.
He places his horses incredibly well. I think you mentioned on the podcast last week or the week before, maybe a review podcast when Hope in Your Heart won. She's a bit disrespected in the market because she does come from that stable, which I think also, impacts his other horses like Think It Over. He's pretty disrespected in the market when he goes around. The big fella, he's injured at the moment, but hopefully he comes back better than ever. I think you're right. I thought Hope in Your Heart was treated a little bit harshly at the weights for a non-Group 1 winner. She's gone well in a Gong and a Golden Eagle, but they're pop-up races, mate. And are they starting to look into those races to, increase the rating of these ponies? Potentially. And I think fair enough.
Yeah.
But also, give them some group status then. Mm-hmm. But anyway, Hope in Your Heart, I think's a good bet by you, mate. You said she's your main bet. How are you playing the race?
She's the majority of my bet. I'm going to have $80 on her. Jeez. And I'm going to have a $10 each way saver on number 4 Mustang Valley. Weird way to play the race, but you know what? I'll have $10 on Mustang Valley, and then I'll have a $10 Quinella between the two. Just because, this mare had form. She finished quite quick on the fence, which probably wasn't the best place to be behind Hope in Your Heart first up. And she was the riderless horse when Imperatriz was setting headlines over in New Zealand. And so I think she's come back really, really well. Chad in the saddle. Chad. So Timmy Clark to get back in my good books. Not that he really left. But yeah, Hope in Your Heart on top for me.
Lovely. Anavisto's my main bet in the race. Has to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll have $60 on the schnoz of Anavisto. She'll roll forward. Hopefully get into a nice position. Hot Nash, I trust him. And Hot Nash on favourites has got a pretty good strike rate. Plus he's hot. Anavisto, I think 1,500 metres is right up her alley, and I think she's been treated pretty fairly at the weights. She's not a Group 1 winner, but I think she's a genuine Group 2 horse, good enough to win a Group 1 against her own age. So she's my on toppy. Tell you what, if Espiona does run in this race, I'm going to have a little something on her, but I'm assuming she's not going to because she's in the weights really well. I'm going to have $20 on Ruthless Dame as a little saver. Form around Zoo Gotcha.
Yeah.
Form around Sunshine in Paris. Form around In Secret. Did Dylan Gibbons will be doing everything in his power to make up for the fact that he went the early crow last start.
It was Tyler.
Oh, was it Tyler? Not Dylan Gibbons.
Yep. It was Tyler. So Tyler's jumped on expat. But
there's no wonder that he's not on Ruthless Dame anymore.
Well, I read zero into that because he is the stable rider for Mark Newman. So Dylan Gibbons has. I will be physically ill if that thing wins. Ruthless Dame.
I'm very surprised you're not having a little bet on it.
The way that Kieran Maher was talking about it, that was the race.
Yeah,
that was.
So
the race.
You're thinking afterthought. Yeah,
which I really do hate to go towards. Whereas I think Hope in Your Heart, they are saying that Doncaster is her main grand final. So potentially I've fucked up there, but you know what?
You got to own it, right?
Yeah, but I think at the same price, I'm going with the mare with the runs on the board.
Yeah, no, so fair. I just think Ruthless Dame is a filly with some class. She had a tough run last start, so you're right. That could have deflated the tyres a little bit, but at $8 with Neds, I'm gonna have $20 on her to cover my bet with Ana Visto.
I hate my strategy. I hate my strategy for that race. It should just be 50 each way on Hope in Your Heart.
Do it. Just do it.
I can't upset the juju now.
Okay. I've got $20 left to spend. Man, it's actually going to be on Yearning. I thought Yearning ran really well last start. She finished behind Hope in Your Heart, 5th in that race. She's got a massive weight swing against her, though. I think she'll like the 1500. She's a hit and miss type of mare, but would not surprise me to see something like this pop up in a race like this. And $13 with Neds. I'm going to have $20 on Yearning. I looked at Expat and pinging from gate 1, thought, former round Electric Girl who just came out and ran really well against the boys last start, $16 with Neds. And then I looked at the trainer and I was like, no way in hell is she going to be part of my betting strategy. Yeah, but a few others wouldn't shock. Could go into more detail. Hinged wouldn't shock. You know what I mean? It's one of those races, but no, Ana Visto for me.
Yep, agreed. The Newmarket, this is fantastic. So
I feel like we could talk about this race for an hour.
Yeah, why don't we? So the way I'm playing this race is the best top weight, the best horse, and the best weighted horse. So I'm having 3 horses in my strategy.
Okay.
So I'll start with the best horse. That's I Wish I Win. He is the best horse in this race, in my humble.
Yep. Okay.
I think I'm quite confident that he's going to stamp his hoof of authority here. Barrier 14 is perfect. When you look at the speed map, who's drawn outside in Marzu, who's a very fast horse. You've got the Astrologist as well.
He's a fast horse. He's also just a good boy.
Yeah. So
love you, Marzu.
Love the draw for I Wish I Win. He's going to see absolutely no trouble down that way. And if they do split, which there is the potential with Front Page and Snapper drawing on the inside, I still think the Astrologist and Marzu are... Marzu, might I say. The Snowdens are foaming at the mouth about him.
They really are, yeah.
They think he is sensationally over the odds. I just looked at his first up run last time. Wanted to risk him for this run and this run only.
Yeah.
So I think I Wish I Win has got the better class on his side to follow into the race. But we also thought the exact same thing last year and got our pants pulled down. So I've got one on the other side as well, down on the inside, and that's number 1, Private Eye, who he was probably out of the spring in our sprinting ranks. He would have to be the find of the spring because he was putting away fields. Mate, first up over the 1,200 metres at Flemington with 60 kilos on his back. He destroyed Rockin' Horse in the Gilgai. He absolutely put it to the sword. It's 58 kilos. He's better off here.
Yeah.
Like, I can see him running an absolutely sensational race. Brenton Avdulla, one of mine, is taking the ride. And the final horse that I wanted to touch on before I hand it over to you was number 16, Buenos Noches.
Buenos Noches. One of the best named horse in the country. Potentially the best named horse in the country.
I would have thought so. So, let's have a look through his CV. First up in the Lightning. Oh, only a 2.2 length defeat. And you might go like, oh, is that good enough to feature here? Of course it fucking is. What are your eyes painted on?
He needs every inch of the 1,200 metres, mate. 5 furlongs isn't enough for Buenos Noches.
Nowhere near
because he's looking at the finish line 200 metres ahead because that's where he's thinking the La Cerveza is. The burritos, the tacos, the nachos. That's where he's thinking it is. He was confused last start.
Yeah. Yep. And people are going like, oh, In Secret is the best weighted horse in this field. Look back at the Coolmore. Level weights, fillies versus the boys. In Secret, 55 kilos. Buenos Noches, 57. That is a 3 kilo weight swing with In Secret with 51. And Buenos Noches with 50.5. Come on. He has to be, of the 3-year-olds, in my view, the one that you have to back. Especially with In Secret's like lead up run. Probably doesn't get the 1,400 metres. I might be a little overcritical there. I think Buenos Noches, perfect draw. Yeah. Benny Thompson in form. Lot of ticks.
Wouldn't shock. He's incredibly well weighted in this race. And yeah, he was great last start.
Yeah.
And great in the Coolmore. He loves the straight. But Buenos Noches. Man, I could have found half the horses in this field. You know?
Gotcha.
Like, you got like your Bella Nipotinas. She's $13. She was awesome in the Lightning.
Yeah.
And how about that incredible Group 1 win last prep?
She was delicious that day.
Brained him.
Yeah.
Literally brained him.
Very well found by
me. So, yeah, you can make an argument for so many horses in this race. Like our boy Marceau would not shock.
No.
He wouldn't shock. You got to risk a few. Yeah, I wish I win. Unbelievable in the Lightning. The fact that this thing's won a Golden Eagle and his first run of the next prep down the Flemington Straight of all things, over 1,000 metres of all things, and he finishes like that, rocketed home. 56.5 kilos is more than what I thought he'd get, though. I thought he'd get 55 kilos. In the grand scheme of things, does 1.5 kilos really impact performance? Probably to a degree. Otherwise, you know, I'm not arguing with the science. I'm not a mathematician. I'm not a doctor.
Physicist.
Yeah. I didn't do chemistry. But yeah, he should be incredibly hard to beat. So I wish I win. One of the top chances for me. I think In Secret has drawn perfectly because you can just sit off the speed in this race, and with Jamie Carr on, hands and heels, just the softest hands in Australia, Jamie Carr. I think she's going to be really tough to beat as well. And they're both at a backable price for me. Mm-hmm. So I am going to have $40 on I Wish I Win. I'm going to have $40 on In Secret. And then that leaves me with, by my calculations, $20. With I'm going to have on Julius Sandhu's horse, Lofty Strike.
Mm-hmm.
He was phenomenal last start, just missed out.
Yeah.
In the Oakley Plate. First up, he beat Uncommon James in the Rubiton Stakes. Yeah, really excited to see how he goes this weekend. $8.50 with Neds. I was probably hoping for a little bit more of a bigger price.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I think he's a get back run on horse, and if I see him and I Wish I Win chasing In Secret really quickly, I'll be a happy man, because surely one of those horses will get up for me. Surely. That's how I'm playing the race.
Yeah. With Lofty, do you think he runs out 1,200 metres?
I think he does. Yeah, I think so. I think so. You know, look, I think for this prep, yeah, maybe last prep you could make an argument that he doesn't, but, you know, he's a 3-year-old and come back a bit more experienced. They've got a great record in this race, so I'm happy to spec it a couple. I do admit I was tossing up between him and Buenos Noches. But But he's faced a few more acid tests in his short career lofty strike, in my humble.
Sure.
So that's my argument.
If you see it that way.
That's my argument. But I admit, Buenos not chess. He's a great chance in this race, mate.
I 100% agree.
Mate, you know what? This is the type of race where Rock and Horse could just come out and win.
Yeah.
September Run could.
I could see Baller winning.
I could see Baller winning.
I could see Bella Nipotina winning. September Run, yep, she could ruin my day again. The Astrologist, I don't think so. He's going a bit too slowly these days.
Yeah.
Chain of Lightning, she hasn't come back the same. I think she's a mare's grade horse in my humble. 1,200 metres probably suits. I was surprised the price that Front Page went up at $20. I thought that was far too short. Far too short.
He'll hit the front, though.
He certainly will.
At some point.
So will Snapper.
Snapper definitely will.
He's one of mine.
I think there's going to be enough pace.
Yeah, I'm concerned if they split. But I think I've got the right horses on either side of the field. So, if Private Eye
could just blow him away.
He has a sensational turn of foot.
Oh, God, yeah, he does.
So, by one of the most respected trainers in the business, actually. Yeah. Jim,
yep.
So, I didn't tell you how I'm playing the race.
You didn't, actually.
$75 on I Wish I Win. And then a $25 Quinella boxing, Private Eye, I Wish I Win, and Buenos Noches.
Buenos Noches.
Let's stay at Flemington and go through the undercards. Race 3 is the Kewney Stakes, Group 2 for the 3-year-old fillies, 600 metres. Revolutionary Miss is a dual acceptor, which is not ideal. But then you also have Shuffle Dancer, Pavitra, Wollombi, and then it gets pretty thin from there. Nunthorpe was disappointing last start, and she comes up at a big price, but I think it's probably out of the first 4 that I mentioned. If Revolutionary Miss stays here, market probably agrees with me.
Yeah, I think so. Between Shuffle Dancer and Wollombi for me. Wollombi comes down from midweek Sydney races last start and just puts them away in Group 3 against a horse like See You in Heaven, who's, got some good form. So Wollombi, Shuffle Dancer, yeah, been up for a while. Then you got, another moody thing down the bottom, Nunthorpe, at a bigger price. But, am I keen to play in this race? Not as of yet. On the day, will I? 100%. Just need to pick my own toppy, but Wollombi or Shuffle Dancer for me.
Yeah, Wollombi or Pavitra for me. I'm a big fan of Pavitra. Jamie Carr gets back on, who knows this filly very, very, very well. So I think Flemington will just be perfect for her to just be, she has drawn pretty sticky in 11, but she'll probably just wander across, take her time, find hopefully a position in the top 4, and she can use that lovely long stride of hers and use every inch of the Flemington straight. Was hoping for better than $6, but I think if she doesn't win, Wollombi will. So probably have a Quinella there. Race 4 is the size produce for the 2-year-olds. 1,400 metres. I was keen at one at a price here. Tom Kitten for Godolphin.
Oh, yeah. Blake Shinnon.
Yeah.
Yeah, they know what to do with their 2-year-olds, don't they? Coming down from Sydney.
Yeah. Month break, which was interesting, but has won a maiden at 1,300 metres, which makes me suggest that he'll run it out because some of these might not. But he did beat at home, Make a Call, who ran decently either last Saturday or the Saturday prior in Sydney as well. So I think he's over the odds here at $18. Sydney, we've seen it time and time again. These Sydney horses come down to Melbourne. Number 7, Vate.
Yeah.
For the McAvoys, absolutely spanked Apulia. number 8, who was a subsequent, I guess, just outside the top 4 behind Freak of Nature and Fists of Fury. So I understand why it's favourite in the market. Probably wins, but I'm going to take the $18 every day of the week.
No, fair enough. I like Vate. Mostly because I like Grunt. It's Sire.
Yeah.
Backed him a few times for a couple of collects. Grunt. Go Grunt!
Grunt.
He's a good horse.
Yeah. Race 5 is the Matron Stakes. 1,600 metres Group 3 for the mares. Set weights penalties. Thought this was quite tough.
Isn't it just?
Didn't mind number 8, So You See, up in grade here, but she did defeat the boys and the older mares and the older boys last start. Might have been benchmark 84 grade, but thought she was very, very good. Jai McNeil in the saddle. Mike Moroney, who is absolutely flying. Barrier 4, can sit, midfield just off it, get into daylight. And I think these are either very good mares returning, looking for further, or they're quite an even bunch. I think this girl could be on the way up, just maturing at the right time.
Yeah, it's a tough race, isn't it? Because you got a horse like Barb Raider who, what were your thoughts on her resuming run?
Not great, but that race did rate very, very strongly on the day. And you have, Barb Raider, Torrigine, and Forbidden City coming out of that race as well. So if you like that form reference, then you have 3 to pick from.
100%. Torrigine's dual accepted. I think it's actually accepted in the Coolmore as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I like it here. I think it'll run here. That form around Espiona, lol. Is probably of more interest to me. Second up here. Don't like those silks, but what can you do?
What can you do? I did include the Australia Cup Prelude, just because. I've found one with an obscure form line that I'm keen on. I think Right You Are has had his fun this prep.
He has had a lot of fun this prep.
And Connections would be absolutely loving him, but you hear Kieran Maher talk about this thing each start, and he's like, wouldn't have thought this horse would put a few in a row. So I think he's even shocking him. We said on one of our review podcasts that Surefire and Young Werter would never be backed ever again on this podcast.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming you've remained strong.
Yeah, no, yeah. I'm not backing either of them. I thought No Compromise in this race potentially. $13 with Neds. I thought he had a slashing return first up, which he's done before, but, out to 2,000 metres here, yeah.
And he's dual accepted as well.
Well, there you go.
So, Chris, can you please just confirm where he's actually running? But one that isn't dual accepted, I don't believe, is number 4, Ruchino, the WA horse.
Sheesh. For start 1,000.
Yeah. But, mate, you look at his he's going for 4 on the trotty. And you look at his final run in the prep in the spring, or the summer even, defeated a very nice mare called Steinem. And, he put him to the sword first up over the 1,800 metres. Step up to 2,000 here suits. Sure. Why not?
Have a throw at the stumps there, you reckon?
Why not, I say? Because I look at these other ones, right? Huerta has not come up the same. Found Declare was very good last start, but couldn't possibly back him.
No.
Emissary looked very slow. Surefire, as mentioned. Right You Are's had his fun. Regal Power hasn't won for a billion years. Young Werter, never again. Noble Heights, Yaffet, I don't think they're good enough. He's the default.
Yeah, no, you have a point.
Yep. Anyway, Newmarket we've talked about. The Shaftesbury Avenue, Group 3, 1,400 metres handicap. The Scalapini just lead and win again.
He very well could. Look, if Espiona stays down here, she's my pony. If she stays down here, you're never going to get a price about this girl, are you? Miss Scalapini could just lead and win, hauling 60 kilos again.
Mm-hmm.
Just making it look easy. But no, Espion is the one for me.
Yeah. Keen on Ayrton here.
Are you actually?
Yeah. Very keen. He has not been one of mine at all. But
God, no.
he has been trained with no assistance over the last 12 months. They set him for a Doomben Cup and then they ran him into Stradbroke.
Yeah, that was...
After a spider bite?
Yeah, that was one of the real training muck-ups of the year last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. And I think the 5 diamonds where, 1,800 metres, he was still wanted by the market at $6.50. Like, I think I'm surprised he's not shorter, actually. Just because of his starting price profile, he is always like quite a short price. $4, I think, is an absolute gift. If he is the Ayrton of old, which is obviously the question. 2 really strong jump outs suggest that he might be. Barrier 9, hopefully he can sit in the lob in the first 4 there. 1,400 metres is right in his wheelhouse. 100%.
J Carr.
Yeah. I'm thinking this will be an Anavisto job. Same stable.
You reckon?
I reckon he could just blow these away.
There you go.
Yeah. Hoping.
We'll find out.
All right, let's go to Rosehill. Race 2, the Pago, 1,200 metres, Group 3 for the 2-year-old Colts and Geldings. Thought this was a race between 2.
Yeah. The Mahaba form, or the Mahaba himself. That race, what were your thoughts on it? Would you reckon it was a subpar?
Oh, yeah, but it's to this grade, Group 3. Group 3 level. He's my on-top selection. I think you need to train this horse like the nutcase he is, because not many horses have a trial in Rosehill at the end of December, get changed stables to Graham Begg, have a jump out or a trial in Cranbourne in Victoria, go to Flemington and win first up, and then they're having their second up run in Sydney. But he's a nutcase, this horse. But he's got talent.
He does.
I think he's going to win.
Yeah, look, I think he'll be hard to beat. I've got to stick with Shinzo. That Chris Waller, Coolmore, J-Mac combination, that's just got me written all over it.
Yeah. What were your
$4.80 with Neds.
Thoughts on him staying at the 1,200?
Thought it was a bit interesting.
That's what I saw, and I put a line through him. I thought the other winning chance in the race was number 7, Introducing.
Yeah, the Waterhouse and Bot thing, yeah. They're professionals, they're 2-year-old. But, I'm going to jump off the horse after one start. Your
name's not me.
Yeah, no, Shinzo. I'm happy. Mahaba, I don't know. I just thought that race was a bit stinky, and for me, when I see a 2-year-old gelding, I'm like, God, that doesn't excite me. I want a colt or a little filly.
He's insane though.
It's not something I look for in the form guide when I'm trying to make money.
Hey, he has no nuts between his legs. He has them up in his head, mate.
Yeah, true. It's just a bit of residual testosterone flowing through his veins.
Gotcha.
No, God bless him.
Magic Night, race 4, 1,200 metres for the fillies. Now, do you get redemption here? Or do I get redemption here from the Blue Diamond?
I think you have to, mate.
Barrier 1 sucks.
Barrier 1 is not great. Barrier 1's not great, but you just...
Not again.
Yeah, you're just hoping that you get out this time. Like, surely there's not going to be 2 races in a row where you just block for a run.
I don't know.
We know she's up to these. We know she's up to these. Look, she's got form around learning to fly and Red Resistance, 2 of the smartest 2-year-olds we have. Was she a good thing beaten in the Blue Diamond? No, not at all. But she had terrible luck, and she would have been fighting at the finish, you would think, if she got clear running. So, yeah, I think Steel City's the one to beat. Blanc de Blanc, yeah, good form, again, around learning to fly. Facile. So, yeah, some good form there. So, Blanc de Blanc wouldn't shock either. Yeah. Yeah, that's my thoughts. Yeah. Are you keen on the other Waterhouse bot thing? Decoy Santuza?
I didn't really look at it because I couldn't pronounce it. jumped a short price favourite last start and got the job done at Canterbury, so possibly. But I really didn't have too firm an opinion here. I think the fillies are quite even. So am I going to dive into the 350 for Steel City? Probably not. Number 3, Remedies, only got caught by one very big and fast horse first up, and that was Cafe Millennium.
He is big and fast.
So against her own sex here, she could very well prove the winning filly for Godolphin. I mean, broken record here. But yeah, no firm opinion. If I had to put one on top, it would be Steel City. The Mauriace McCarten Stakes, race 5, Group 3. Now, I'm probably going to say something absolutely outrageous here. I view Clemenceau as
Clemencio, yeah,
as like a wish version of Espiona. Now, that might sound outrageous because it's won more than half of its races that has actually started. Never been outside the top 3. The reason why I say that is you look at the starting price profile of it and the market absolutely loves it. And it just, when it's got up going through the grades and even going into what might seem very winnable races, it's failed to get the job done. And then you look at who it did beat last start. It was Malkovich, who couldn't dream of winning a race. But you are getting $3.90 here. I think this just goes to show that I found this race impossible to get my mind across. I gave Cannonball a little bit of a push last week where it got scratched. He's probably the one I'm leaning towards just with that Gigi Kick and Buenos Noches form. The 5 months really stinks in between runs. So, I don't know. Yeah, I'm great up here. Don't really want to play.
No, I'm really keen on Clemencio. But I'm one of those guys who's dived in every time. But, out of 9 starts, he's won 5. The key to him is a good track, which he gets. And yeah, is this 1,000 metres or 1,100 metres? 1,100 metres, right up his wheelhouse. He's the horse for me.
Lovely. Race 6, the Phar Lap Stakes. Now, the headline horse of your Wednesday, racing Twitter feeds and your RaceNet feeds and your punters feeds was Zougotcha. She goes to a very winnable race here. Now, she's drawn barrier for. She has filly's weight. She's $1.70. Surely she gets the job done here.
Hey, I would hate to say this, but I don't hate saying it right now. Chips are in. The chips are in. After last weekend's bloodbath, $1.70 is a blessing from Neds. A blessing. Usually I want those black odds, mate. I want that $2 plus. But in this instance, $1.70 is a blessing. She'll put these away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she'll put these away. 100% she will.
Okay.
Glint of Silver.
Yes, that's the danger.
That's a big price for a horse like that. I'm not an each way punter, but it's a 1 unit win, 3 units place type.
1 by 3. They call that in the industry.
It's a 1 by 3 type. Glint of Silver. Yeah. I don't have a glint of intelligence, but yeah, he'll run well. But no, Zougotcha, if we're thinking she's, arguably the best filly of her age group, arguably, she needs to put these away. I thought she was fresh first up. She'll take some big improvement out of that. Draws a gate, J-Mac on, bang. Thanks for coming.
She was fresher than the first Orange of Winter.
So fresh. The hits of autumn. A horse I've got a bit of time for after backing her last start, and I thought she ran very well, is Called Die from the Gerald Ryan and Sterling Alexio stable. She's a filly I want to follow. I think she's come up against a couple of smart ones here. If she runs well, runs into the placing, she's probably going to be my binary horse, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
Still haven't looked at the prices for her in that race, actually, Dan. But you're just providing the drifters with a lot of insight. Yeah, she's one I'll have an eye on, but no, Zagotcha's the one for me.
Yeah, I agree. Your point about Glinta Silva is fantastically found. Yeah, Quinella's all round between those two.
Cheer who, baby.
So Glinta Silva, Mick Price was arguing if he was going to put Amenable on top in the Guineas. And it was very unlucky last start. Anyway. The Sky High Stakes, race 7, 2,000 metres. I think the King can get the job done here.
I think the King can, yeah. Hate the stable.
Tyler, are you listening?
Oh, Tyler as well.
Don't you dare.
You're in the bad books. Biggest watch in this race, quite clearly, is a William Haggis horse, number 16, Protagonist. Big watch. Happy to watch it go round, particularly at that price. Benno's a horse I've got a lot of time for. He's won once in 14 starts. I think he'll be winning once from 15 starts. Has been in tougher company than this. But no, he's a watch for me. King Frankel's the progressive stayer on the rise, and with that weight and that price, happy.
I agree. Yes, he's the on-top selection, but the best roughie of the entire weekend is in this field. And it's not our boy Celino, unfortunately, at 100 to 1. It is number 1, Explosive Jack, the Derby King himself. You look through his form. But Dan, he had 63 weeks off. Yeah. And he finished 6 lengths off pounding first up in a 1,600 metre contest. Oh, but Dan, did he improve next start? Yeah, he did. Against pounding again, he only finished 3 lengths off at next start. You watch him through the line. 100 metres past the post, he's up with them. 200,000 metres.
He could probably run that, to be fair.
He very much could. He's got a nom in for the Sydney Cup. That's ultimately his aim. 2,000 metres suits here, though, 100%. How many times have we seen Amar Eustace Sayer pop up in a race like this and just get the job done? $35. You're kidding.
You're actually kidding.
Put it in your quaddies. Has to be in there just for your quaddie insurance. Has to. So I'm definitely having a 1x3 on this guy. And I'll be playing Quinella's with the King. But Explosive Jack, I think he's come back super.
Explosive even.
Yeah. Like he's not finding any horses with the turn of foot of bloody pounding here.
Pounding's going to an all-star mile as of today.
You heard Peter Moody. He thinks he's the best miler in the country. Now, Peter quite clearly hasn't seen the likes of Animo and Greenville. I would have thought.
Yeah, he's watching those races with his eyes closed, apparently.
I can see where he's coming from, right? Maybe in Victoria. All right, we end it on race 9, the Ajax Stakes, the 1,500 metres Group 2. I was shocked to see that this was a Group 2, this field of all fields.
Oh, terrible, isn't it?
Oh, I found it virtually impossible. Like, you look at Waterford, right? Never raced in a listed race. The hardest grade he's been in is benchmark 88.
Yeah.
You'd love to own him, but he's been dreaming about this type of grade.
Yeah, no, you're right. He's my on toppy though. I think his table's got a big rap on the young fella, Brett Preble, on board. Brent Pebble. Waterford's the one for me. Am I that keen on him? No way. If I'm in a deep dark hole responsibly by this time on Saturday afternoon, will he be responsibly whacked on the schnoz by me? Potentially.
That's a ridiculous statement by you because we're tipping the card between us.
Yeah.
We're having to fill up. I can tell it now. A responsible fill up.
Yep. Okay.
Number 1 Bandersnatch for me. what can I say about this horse? Probably the bridesmaid, never the bride. I feel like that's pretty fair to say.
Yeah, strong non-winner vibes from Bandersnatch.
Last year, though, it's been going up against some pretty smart horses. So first up, this prep, only a couple of lengths off. Think about it. Jim is saying that thing is a Stradbroke horse. That's Jim's opinion. But you look like at the, start of its prep last prep, it's only a length off I Wish I Win. And Agon, I think those horses would be very short in a race like this.
Yeah.
So I think Bandersnatch, $7. Today's the day. He usually races best either first or second up. Yep, he's on side for me. And I think the Hawks stable is actually flying at the moment.
They are low flying, the Hawks stable. So
I think they're
hopefully, that means the earning can get the choggies.
I mean this as respectfully as possible. They're flat track bullies. I think their horses just genuinely hate the wet.
No, 100% they do.
Yeah.
They got terrible records on wet weather.
Terrible.
Fair enough.
Absolutely. Okay. So Zugocha's your best bet of the day?
Oh, yeah, 100% she is. At that price, yeah, it's not going to take a genius to find her. But I'm not one. They never claimed to be. I'd rather be counting my pennies after a race with a smile on my face than trying to find them in my wallet and finding mothballs instead. What's the hardest thing about finding mothballs, Dan?
Spreading their little legs.
Spreading part of their little legs. So, yeah, what about you? What are you keen on?
Ayrton.
Fuck. Oh, no, look, wouldn't shock. Wouldn't shock. Wouldn't shock. This weekend should be fun. Greatest place on earth. We've got incredibly good juju there, barring one said rockin' horse.
Quaddie. It's in the quaddie.
Quaddie. If we win the quaddie, I'm a happy buck. That's all I want.
Yeah. What are you any of the festivities that we've, talked about? Nothing too hectic.
No.
Like anything that you're looking forward to?
Honestly, walking in to the surf club and just finding a spot in front of the TAB and just planting myself there and parking up. Handbrake goes on. I don't move for 10 hours.
Yeah.
That to me is, I'm a simple man, simple pleasures. Spending time with my closest mates and my bros and my dad. What's not to like?
I couldn't agree more. Now, we also have something that I think we need an on-air meeting right now. Okay. What I can do is bring a mic along and I'll do like a roaming hutch through the Noosa Surf Club, basically getting our live thoughts post-race.
Okay.
Instead of a review podcast, because I doubt we'll be in any shape to do that.
God, no. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
And it doesn't need to be anything crazy. We'll be, I'm sure some of the responses post-race as the day continues to go on might be filled with some expletives. Hopefully not the expletives that Brad was using on the last review podcast.
Yeah. Need to wash his mouth out.
Yeah, Bronwyn, Darren, you need to get a bar of soap and wash your son's mouth out with soap.
Seeing Bronwyn tomorrow night, actually. I might bring it up with her.
Yeah, I think you should, because we're a respectful group of young men, and that behaviour is untoward to, how we want to present ourselves to society.
Yeah. What was worse, him saying that or how blind we were?
Hey.
Or how
I held myself together pretty well.
Yeah, I couldn't open my mouth properly.
Incoherent with a capital I, that's for sure.
Oh well. But yes, Drifters, that will be the review podcast, likely Sunday afternoon instead of Sunday morning. But deal with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We have things to do, people to see. But yeah, that's probably us, I would imagine. We'll see you next Wednesday.
Good luck.
Hooroo.
God bless.